Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Barakathum, Yahweh Shemar Thum, Bashim, Yahweh Shai. It's actually Kentucky Tuesday Brotherhood class. And tonight, what we're going to talk about, the so-called holiday that just passed. What is it called? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Eid al-Adha. And I know it's like, it go over a lot of black people's heads, stuff like that. Because in the world, you would never even pay any attention to that. But in the truth, we talk to be vigilant of everything that's going on. And that's a celebration of Muslims. You know, Muslims bomb the World Trade Center. Muslims commit terrorist acts all throughout, you feel me, the country since the 90s. They tried to bomb the World Trade Center with a gas truck, all type of stuff. And they still gave them a holiday that's on the calendar, and it lasts for 2 days. You feel me? For 2 days, they gave them a holiday, and they don't give black people nothing. You feel me? We still poor in the ghetto. They got businesses all over, and that's just proof that the Arabs even get more love than black people. Go ahead, you guys.
Salakia, sir, if I could. You mean we still don't get love when we try to be Muslim and put a bow tie on?
Man, look, man. Muslims sell more crack than a little bit. You feel me? Philly was known for their Muslim community. Man, they sell more crack and killing more than a little bit, man. You feel me? Being a Muslim ain't saved black people, but it's saving the Arabs. You feel me? It's saving them, but it ain't saving us. You feel me? But if I could, you could go with the article like we always do. We bring out an article, bring out what we talk about, then we get into the scriptures.
All right, this is Encyclopedia Britannica, Eid al-Adha. The second of two great Muslim festivals, the other one being the Eid al-Fitr, marks the culmination of the Hajj, the pilgrimage rites in Mina and Mecca, but is celebrated by Muslims throughout the world. As with the Eid al-Fitr, it is distinguished by the performance of communal prayer at daybreak on its first day, and it begins on the 10th day of the last month of the Islamic calendar.
Mm-hmm. So basically, this is like it's a holiday that the whole world is celebrating. Like even in America, they celebrate the Muslims. I think we're gonna get into that. You feel me? They was in Minnesota, like 40,000 deep. They opened up a whole stadium for them to celebrate it. You feel me? You go ahead.
And continues for an additional 3 days. During the festival, families that can afford to sacrifice a ritually acceptable animal do so and then divide the flesh equally among themselves, the poor,
right,
and friends and neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a time for visiting with friends and family and for exchanging gifts. The festival commemorates the ransom with a ram of the biblical patriarch Abraham's son Ishmael.
Right. So they still trying to connect themselves to the Bible somehow. Like even Malcolm X said that. You feel me? He even talked about how Christ was black, and even Louis Farrakhan talk about how we Israelites, we the real Jews, and all stuff like that. Because the Islam is just a carbon copy of the Bible. You feel me? What his name was, Muhammad. You feel me? All he did was plagiarize the Israelites, man. He followed the Israelites, and he copied everything they did. They was celebrating 300 gods the same way the Egyptians was, and they seen that the Israelites only had one God, and they said, "Oh, this is right." You feel me? This makes sense to have only one God. And that's when they came up with Allah. You go ahead.
Rather than Isaac, as in the Judeo-Christian tradition. The festival of break and fast, also known as Eid al-Fitr, the first of two canonical festivals in Islam, it marks the end of Ramadan, the Muslim holy month of fasting, and it was celebrated during the first 3 days of the 10th month in the Islamic calendar. As in Islam's other holy festival, the Eid al-Adha, it is distinguished by the performance of communal prayer at daybreak on its first day. The Eid al-Fitr is the time of official receptions and private visits when friends greet one another, presents are given, new clothes are worn, and the graves of relatives are visited.
I think it's one more paragraph.
I think that might be it.
That's the second one or the first one?
The first one.
All right, you go ahead. Just go to the second one. That's the one I really want to talk about, how they invaded the Minnesota Bank Arena. 30,000 Muslims, you know? That's 30,000 terrorists. But black people, we can't even get pulled over in the car without getting shot 60 times. You feel me? But the Muslims can gather 30,000 deep in the arena.
More than 40,000 members of the Islamic community came to the U.S. Bank Stadium on Saturday to celebrate the Eid al-Adha, one of the religion's holiest traditions. The turnout was so extreme.
I never even heard of this before. This sparked my attention because I seen it on the calendar. You feel me? Like, I'm going through the calendar, I'm getting my, week ready and stuff like that, and I see it on the calendar, and I'm like, what is this? So I Google it, I research it, and they gave the Muslims like 2 days, you feel me, to celebrate. In America, though. Now, this ain't just an Islam country.
Right. The turnout was so extreme, organizations had to tell 5 Eyewitness News that they had to add an additional prayer service and eventually turn members away.
Right. That's how many people was going, how many Muslims was going in there. I didn't even know there was that many Muslims in Minnesota. You feel me? It's that many Muslims in Minnesota. It's like, what did it say, 40,000? You go ahead.
The Super Eid was created by Minnesota's Muslim Coalition back in 2018 after leaders say mosques around the state began questioning the safety of celebrating the Eid. Abdullah Farah with the Muslim Coalition explained that hate and attacks geared toward the community has sparked fear. There was a lot of political rhetoric and a lot of fear-mongering and divisive narratives that were out there. A lot of our community was under this dark shadow of, is it really safe to come together? Instead of scaling back, Muslim leaders looked to their values for guidance and created a Super Eid, a larger and more public celebration of their traditions.
You see the picture? I'm going to use that as a thumbnail. It's 40,000 of them going down in the Minnesota stadium. You feel me? That, of course, black people made rich because black people is the ones running up and down that football field, but they don't get no love getting shot down 60 times. They get a terrorist a holiday, and I'm calling them a terrorist because that's exactly what they are. And we're going to get into that later. You feel me? You know who he is. It's in the Bible that they terrorists. You feel me? But if I could, drop down to where a couple paragraphs where it started talking about what it's all about. Because I didn't know what it was all about.
According to the Muslim Coalition, the Eid al-Adha commemorates the sincere faithfulness of Prophet Abraham. The organization says that as a test, the Prophet...
No, read all of it. Read all of it. Because they trying to discredit us. You feel me? That's what they trying to do. They trying to discredit us because they at war with Israel right now because they think that's their land when it's really our land. You feel me?
Or Abraham, as he is called in the Jewish and Christian faith.
Because that's why I say they a carbon copy. They didn't copy the Bible. They didn't copy the Israelites and came up with their own religion. Like Hebrews, the 11th chapter say, the word of God, you feel me, framed the worlds. All these different worlds, China, Japan, you feel me? All these different worlds, man, these different countries was framed by the word of God because they all came out of Noah. You feel me? You go ahead.
The organization says that as a test, the prophet was called by Allah, the Arabic word for God, to sacrifice his son.
Right, because that's who Allah is, and people didn't know. That's the Most High. They copied our God in the Bible and gave him a name, called him Allah. You feel me? Which is almost it's blasphemy. Go ahead. I already know.
Salaki says not even a name. Allah just means God.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
It's like saying Elohim in Hebrew.
That's why I said they just copied our God. That's what they did. They copied our book. You feel me? Plagiarized is a better word. They plagiarized the Bible. You feel me? And they took Abraham and Isaac and Ishmael and their story and made a religion because they are Ishmael. In the Bible, the Arabs are Ishmael. They the descendants of Ishmael. Good. Yeah, where it say the organization.
The organization says that as a test, the prophet was called by Allah, the Arabic word for God, to sacrifice his son. As Abraham was about to carry out what had been commanded upon him, Allah instructed him to let his son go and instead sacrifice a ram.
But this is the funny thing about why they celebrate this so-called holiday in the Arab countries. He was about to sacrifice Isaac. He wasn't even finna sacrifice Ishmael and save Ishmael. You feel me? So what are they celebrating him not sacrificing Isaac for? I don't know, because Isaac was one that was chosen. Ishmael got sent. As a matter of fact, we're finna get into that now. Yeah, you could drop that. Let's get into the scriptures. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 62 through 64. Let's get into the scriptures, because basically we just explained what this holiday is, that it went over so many people's head, especially if you were. It went over your head. You didn't even know that they being celebrated by you being murdered in the streets. You being murdered, thrown in prison. The terrorists is being celebrated in America. Feel me? The same one that Donald Trump said, the Muslim travel ban, all that was, man, that was for play. You feel me? They love the Muslims more than they love you, even though they took down the World Trade Center. Go ahead.
Salaki 28 to 62.
Yeah, 62 to 64.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 62. And ye shall be...
Salaki. Yeah, go ahead. Let's go ahead.
And ye shall be left few in number, whereas you were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right, and that's true. You feel me? We were supposed to be as the stars of heaven. You feel me? But we became low, man. What they say, we 13% of the population? You grab that, put the cord on it. You just lift it up, put the cord on it. You feel me? What they say, we 14% of the population. You feel me? And that's true. That's 100% true, man. We became low because we didn't want to serve our God. It's talking about black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You go ahead.
Verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do good and to multiply you.
Right, because that was the promise we had with Abraham, who these so-called Muslims supposed to be celebrating. You feel me? Abraham is not, you feel me? They got cut off. They supposed to be celebrating Abraham, but this was a promise that was given to Abraham, which is our forefathers. You feel me? One of the greatest men that walked the face of the earth. You feel me? He was given a blessing from the Most High, that his sons and daughters would be as the sand of the sea. But instead, they being thrown in prison, man, and they stripping on stripper poles. You feel me? They getting murdered by the police, getting shot 60 times because of a traffic stop. Because we sin against the Most High. This ain't no coincidence that the Muslims ain't being pulled over. You feel me? Tell me why the Arabs ain't being pulled over. Why they ain't being shot down in the street? And they blowing up buildings. They walk around with their whole body covered. You don't even know it look like a ninja. Salaki, I'm for real. They out here walking around like the three ninjas and they ain't getting pulled over. Black man got some braids and they getting pulled over, getting shot 40 times, man. Go ahead.
So the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you.
Right, and that's true. That's exactly what happened. You feel me? Because that was the promise. You feel me? We keep the commandments. He gonna multiply us as the sand of the sea. If we don't keep the commandments, man, he gonna put us in slavery, poverty. You feel me? Put these heathen nations over us. Go ahead.
And to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked off from the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Right, we ain't been to Israel. They fighting over it. We ain't been there. Black people, we don't know where we going. If it wasn't for Commander GEN.YAHANNA, we wouldn't know where the hell we going. We'll still be fighting over blocks and territory over here in America. And they over there fighting over our homeland right now. The Muslims, they're celebrating this holiday we just talked about. The Jewish man, they fighting over our territory, man, right now. And there was a white lady even said it. She told the Jewish man, go back to Poland. That's where you from. I don't know if she was a Nazi or something, but she told the Jewish man, you from Poland. What are you even doing there? They don't belong to you. Everybody know but black people in America that land do not belong to them. It ain't even no secret, it's just a secret to us because we getting high. You feel me? All the sisters stripping on poles, prostitution. You feel me? Fast money, fast life. That's all. We trying to live like our oppressors, basically. You feel me? By any means necessary. You go ahead.
Verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other.
Right.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Man, our fathers ain't known no white Jesus. Our father ain't known no Islam. Our fathers ain't known no Scientology. None of this stuff, man. How you gonna be the same religion as the Ku Klux Klan? Our peoples ain't known none of this stuff from back in the day, man. You feel me? When we were slaves teaching the Bible in caves. What you think Nat Turner and them had the rebellion for? You think they just read Exodus and went crazy? They knew they was Israelites. It said Negroes for sale. It didn't say Africans for sale. It said Negroes for sale. Because they knew that we was not Africans, man. We knew we weren't African. They beat us into submission. And then we became African America. Africa for the African. That killed me. Marcus Garvey said that. Like, I'm like, man, we not even no Africans. You ain't even got no proof we Africans, man. They don't even mix with us. They don't deal with us. They don't get shot down 60 times. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, anybody watching the stream, look up a name, Theodore Herzl.
Mm-hmm.
That's the white boy that came up with the Pan-African movement.
We know we gonna bring it out. Salakia, you got some more on that?
Khan.
All right, you go ahead.
Was neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
See, man, the Bible is living. The Bible is alive, man. The wood is that Christian cross, but that stone is talking about that rock in Mecca that they circle, you feel me, and pray and worship to. You feel me? That is nothing to the Most High, man. These people had to start their own stuff because they weren't God's people. That's the whole reason for religion. Because they not God's people. They got to fit themselves in somehow, some way. You feel me? They got to fit themselves in, and they don't fit in with us. That's why they kill us. Feel me? That's why they separate us and segregate us. Because they don't fit in with us. But yeah, you could drop that and go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 13.
Khan, the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. There had no temptation taken you but such as is common to man.
Right. It's common to want to do what everybody else is doing. You feel me? It's hard to come in here into the I.S.U.P.K and do what nobody else is doing, man. Which is keeping the law and commandment. This is rough. You feel me? It is a fight. You feel me? You feel me? That's what Christ say, you feel me? Lose your life so you can save it. But this is a fight coming in here, man. Every brother, sister, child, everybody that come into the I.S.U.P.K, man, you is precious to the Most High. Because you could be out here doing what? What it say?
There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man.
Such as common to man. You could be out here doing everything that's common to man. Whatever these women out here doing, whatever these brothers out here doing, you could be doing it. But instead, you want to serve God, man. And the Most High, he don't look at that as a light thing. That is precious to him, man. Go ahead.
But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able.
Right, so whatever you're going through, you can definitely serve God still. Whether you believe it or not. You don't got to go join no fake religion, man, and circle no rock. You feel me? Like Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad, all of them, man. They was going through the same stuff that the brothers was going through in the I.S.U.P.K. But they chose to serve Islam. While the brothers was out teaching the truth, they was serving Islam and they all died. The whole organization is destroyed. Where are the Muslims at? They all selling crack. Where Louis Farrakhan? I'm from Chicago, the South Side. I ain't never seen him. Why I ain't never seen him? You feel me? If Islam is so righteous and such the way of life, why I ain't never seen Louis Farrakhan ever in my life? You feel me? Go ahead.
You busy reading the Scientology.
Man, come on, man. Stop it. You already know, you know that. You somewhere busy, like you said, reading Scientology, coming up with some type of scam to get some more of your money because the Muslims ain't nothing but Christians. That's all they is. Go ahead.
But with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear.
Right, the Most High gonna make a way to escape. You feel me? Whatever temptation you going through, you feel me? Whatever, irking your side, you feel me? That you feel like, nah, man, I might as well just go back into the world or go back to just doing whatever I want to do. Don't do it. Because that's all life is about. Just fighting temptation. We all go through it and it's rough. It's most definitely rough, but that's the game we dealt. The hand we was dealt when we was all here before and we chose to sin against God. We chose to sin against God, not keep the commandments in our past life. And we here to do it right this time. You feel me? That's what we here for. You feel me? To do it all over again. But this time we're going to do it right. You feel me? Thanks to Commander GEN.YAHANNA, the generals, the captains, the officers, man. You feel me? Out here pushing this truth. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry.
Flee from what?
Flee from idolatry.
Circling a rock in Mecca.
Flee from idolatry.
A Christian cross.
Flee from idolatry.
Any religion that's not of your fathers, man. You feel me? The Holy Bible is all records, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. It's free from idolatry. But this world is full of idolatry. And it's going to suck you in if you let it. You feel me? If you let it. So yeah, you could drop that and go to Exodus 20 and 3.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 3.
Oh, cowboy. Hey, what the app you got? I need that app. Get that quick. No, you good.
Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Nah, we gonna circle this rock, and then we gonna sail rock. The hell going on? Man, come on, man. What are we doing out here, man? It's like to the point where I don't even know what else to do. I don't know what else to do but follow Commander GEN.YAHANNA. Because what else? We done everything that everybody ever done, and we never prospered. But we ain't never tried this right here. Because it's hard. It ain't easy. We ain't never tried this. Keeping the laws and commandments. Coming back to our God. He say, no, have no other gods before me. All these other people got gods, right? Am I lying? Don't they all got their own God? The East Indians, they raided their capital, swimming in the pool. So, man, come on, man. Look, I can't make this up, man. Everybody got gods and they prospering. Why the hell blacks and Hispanics at the bottom and we doing the same thing they doing? Because this Bible is talking about us. It was our instructions, man. It was never about everybody. It was just talking about us. We're going all the way to verse 5.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above.
In heaven above. Now, don't Islam got a crescent moon, right, on every temple? Man, look, we can't make this up. I'll tell you, the Bible is a living book, man. And tonight class is about Islam. Because when I seen that they had a whole holiday that the whole America, acknowledges, it kind of blew my mind because I'm like, man, we dying every day. It's more black men in prison than it was in slavery. But you telling me the terrorists got a whole holiday? And they are nothing. You feel me? They are nothing, man. They just another heathen nation that is going into chains when Christ come back. You go ahead.
Or that is in the earth beneath. Or that is in the water underneath. Under the earth, Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
Do what?
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
So why are they bowing down? You know Muslims pray 5 times a day, right? You know how God said we supposed to pray? So, you go to side of the circle. You're supposed to stand up and look with your hands and eyes, look up to the Most High. But they are bowing down. It's like they do the exact opposite of what the Bible say to do. You feel me? And we do exactly what the Bible say to do. They bow down on their knees with their head to the ground. You feel me? 5 times a day. And Most High say you ain't supposed to do that. Go ahead. That's idolatry. Go ahead.
For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
You're jealous of a rock. How the hell we gonna make the Most High jealous of a rock, man? That's so evil, man. Well, Farad Muhammad was a white dude. The one that taught Elijah Muhammad Islam. You feel me? He was a white guy. Somehow a white guy is always in the midst of anything that you think, you feel me? Think some type of black revolution, all that, man. Black Panthers, there's a white guy in the middle of all that stuff, you feel me? You thought we was going to get rich selling crack. The white people was in the middle of that. You feel me? Because we ain't serving our God and we ain't being vigilant, watching out for the devil and his tricks. You feel me? We falling into his temptations and stuff like that. You go ahead. You can end it at 5.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation.
Unto the what?
Unto the 3rd and 4th generation.
So you telling me I'm sitting here poor as hell because my great-great-granddaddy worship a rock? Go ahead, read. What is that?
Of the 3rd and 4th generation.
The 3rd and 4th generation, man. That's your great-great-great-great-granddaddy, man. You paying for what he done. You the curse. I'm telling you. Everybody, let's break generational curses. We breaking generational curses. We catching flights, not feelings. It's a lot. Man, look, I'm trying to tell you, man. We is the curse, man, because we doing the same thing over again. The same thing that got us in the position we in, we doing the same thing. The same thing our parents done, we doing the same thing. But us in I.S.U.P.K, we breaking it. We breaking it because we keeping the law. You feel me? We celebrating our high holy days. We ain't celebrate the 4th of July. You feel me? We ain't celebrate Memorial Day. I mean, they told us we could take the day off of the slaves, so you know we took that. But we ain't go barbecue or nothing like that. You feel me? Because that's what the Most High wants us to do, man. He want us to worship Him. You feel me? And not no graven images, man. Because He a jealous God, man. And He'll destroy you to the 3rd, 4th generation, man. For you not keeping the commandments, your sons, and daughters pay for it, man. We the curse. You go ahead.
Unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me.
Because you hate God. If you in Islam right now, you hate the Most High, man. You hate Him. Otherwise, you would be serving Him. The Islam, Muhammad and them plagiarized your book and made a religion off of it, man. So yeah, you could drop that. Let's go. Now we finna get into Abraham, Ishmael, and Isaac and all that whole. Because what they broke down about it, why they celebrated, don't even make sense. They say that they celebrated because Abraham sacrificed a ram instead of Ishmael, but he never was finna sacrifice Ishmael in the first place. So you go ahead. Let's get Genesis 12 and 1.
The book of Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country and from thy father's kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee.
Right, because Abraham, one of the children of Shem, you feel me? Shem is where the Israelites come out of. But the thing about it is, his family at the time worshipped the stars. You feel me? Like Adam used to. And that was over with. The Most High wasn't dealing with that no more. And so he picked Abraham like he always do. He was Abram at this time. But the Most High always picked one man that he dealing with. You feel me? And his family. You go ahead. We're going all the way to verse 3.
Verse 2. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
Right, and that was the point. You feel me? That's black people. You feel me? When the Most High, what did it say? What that was, 1st or 2nd Peter's, when it say a day to the Lord is like 1,000 years. When the Most High was talking to Abraham, he was talking about the future. He wasn't talking about with him right then and there. He was talking about the future. His sons, man, ruling the whole planet. You go ahead.
Verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee.
Right.
And curse them that curseth thee.
Right. That's what's supposed to be happening, but it's the opposite. We being cursed and they being blessed because we didn't keep the covenant, which is just the laws and commandments. That's the covenant. And the Christians are so evil because they telling you the laws is done away with when that's how we get back into rulership. By just keeping the law. It's that simple. I don't know if you ever heard it before, but that's how black people get back into rulership, just by keeping the law. It's that simple. It ain't nothing magical. Ain't no 401k, no cryptocurrency, or none of that. That's not how we gonna get back into rulership. Otherwise, it would have been happening. We got billionaires. Am I lying or something? I could have sworn we got hella billionaires. They don't care. They don't give a damn about nothing but they self. Go ahead.
And these shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Right. All the families of the earth will be blessed. If we blessed. You feel me? That's why when we get the kingdom, they will be. You feel me? All these nations and stuff, they is in utter poverty, man. You feel me? Financially and emotionally because of the so-called white man, the fear of the so-called white man. But when we get the kingdom, it's going to be peace, man, throughout the whole earth. You feel me? It's going to be peace everywhere. Ain't nobody going to have to worry about their country being invaded, a bomb being dropped, or somebody trying to take over Ukraine. They ain't going to have to worry about none of that. You feel me? Everything going to be in order like it was supposed to be. You feel me? That's the end of that.
Sir.
All right. Now go to 16 and 1.
The book of Genesis chapter 16 verse 1. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children. And she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. Verse 2.
Yeah, we're going all the way to 4.
Come. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her.
Right. So Sarah, she couldn't have no children at the time. Her and Abraham steady trying. You feel me? And she was a Hebrew too. You feel me? She come from the seed of Shem. You feel me? And Hagar was an Egyptian. She come from the seed of Ham. So that's not our family. But Ham is also the Africans, you know, all that. But anyway, she was her handmaid, and she was like, okay, well, I can't have no kids. You have sex with her, and her children, you feel me? They gonna be my children, basically. You feel me? So she was basically giving him another wife to have, because having another wife is not frowned upon to the Most High if you doing it righteously. You feel me?
And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarah.
Right, you know he did. It's just a lock it. Your wife trying to give you another one. I mean, it don't happen, you know, nowadays, but I'm just saying, you feel me? I know he did hearken to what she said. You go ahead.
Verse 3. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her handmaid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife.
Right, so, you know, sex is marriage, so now that he done had sex with this African, you know, this is now also his wife. You feel me? You go ahead.
Verse 4. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Right, she was despised, you feel me? So now that she done gave this woman to have sex with her husband, which was her handmaid, like, she was mad about it after she did it. You feel me? So if you thinking that your woman will ever be happy, you feel me? That you got another woman, don't get another one then. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. You might as well just stick with the one you got. Because if you think she not gonna ever be mad about it, you feel me? It ain't gonna never cross her mind to be mad about it, man. You was a fool. Because she done gave this woman to him to have a child because she couldn't have none. And then afterwards she got mad about it. You feel me? So imagine if you just go get you another one, of course she gonna be mad about it. You feel me? But you could drop down to verse 11.
Come, verse 11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child.
Now this is talking about, we just trying to run through the scriptures. You could go read the story on your own, but now it's getting back down to when she even got pregnant.
And shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
Right, called his name Ishmael. Now Ishmael is the so-called Arabs today. You feel me? Like let's say the holiday that we brought out earlier, they say they celebrated because Abraham didn't sacrifice Ishmael. He sacrificed a ram, but he never sacrificed Ishmael in the first place. It was Isaac, because Isaac was the one that was chosen. So the Muslims don't even know what the hell they even talking about. They done made up a holiday off something that was fake. You feel me? And the world let them do it. The world let them do it while I was slaves, still in slavery. You feel me? And that's why they came up with Juneteenth. Because it was slaves still in slavery and they didn't even know about it. They didn't even know they was free. The whole time the Muslims getting a whole holiday celebrated, and it ain't even real. It ain't even no proof that what they were saying was even facts. And that's what we breaking down now. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And he will be a wild man.
He will be a what?
A wild man.
Well, what's a wild man? A wild man to me is somebody that strap bombs and blow up buildings. You feel me? Drive a gas tank to the World Trade Center and detonate the bombs and stuff like that. You feel me? That's a wild man to me. A wild man is somebody that run up to you with a grenade and blow himself up and kill you and 12 other people. That's a wild man. You feel me? They was terrorists. They was meant to be terrorists. You feel me? Ain't nobody else doing that. The Chinese ain't doing that. The Japanese ain't doing that. But the Arabs is. The Arabs is known for committing terrorist attacks where they suicide. You feel me? Suicide bombers and all type of stuff like that. So yeah, you could drop that and go to Genesis 17 and 15. So yeah, so they celebrating a terrorist right now in America. You feel me? He get to be celebrated while you get shot down in the street. You feel me? Because I'm telling you, God's chosen people, Don't nobody love us. Nobody love us. Only people gonna ever love us is each other. We the only ones gonna love us, man. That's why a lot of stuff gonna have to stop. It's gonna have to end, or Christ ain't never gonna come back, man. It ain't gonna never happen, man. You go ahead whenever you got it.
The book of Genesis chapter 17, verse 15. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarah, but Sarah shall her name be.
Right, so he changed her name Sarai to Sarah. You feel me? And that's what happens, you feel me? You get a new name when you come serve the Lord. That's just what happens. It happened with Abraham. His name was Abram. Name was changed to Abraham. Because when you come serve the Lord, you get a new name. Same thing happened to Jacob. Then he wrestled with that angel. His name was changed to Israel. You go ahead.
Verse 16, and I will bless her and give thee a son also of her.
Right, so now you finna open up her womb. You go all the way to 21.
Come. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations.
Mm-hmm.
Kings of people shall be of her.
Now, it say what?
Kings of people shall be of her.
Man, it say she a mother nation and kings with a little k, because Christ is our king, you feel me? With a capital K. But we gonna be kings too. But the thing about it is she only had one son. She had one son, and that was Isaac. So how is she gonna be the mother of nations and of kings, you feel me? Because that was talking about the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that was gonna come out of Isaac and Jacob. Not the terrorists, the Ishmaelites. You go ahead.
Verse 17, then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old?
Right, so he don't even believe it because he's so old. But the Lord definitely do miracles.
And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? Verse 18, and Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19, and God says, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac.
Right, so the reason why he said Ishmael shall live before thee, because that's his son. You feel me? That was his first son that he had with the Egyptian. And you know, your first son is the one supposed to get the blessing. But the Most High wasn't having that. Especially because she was by Egyptian lady. You feel me? You go ahead.
And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
Right, and that's how she was going to become a mother of nations, have kings come out of her with just one son. Because he was going to have a son that was going to have 12 children. And them 12 children was going to have millions of babies. Like what's happening now, that's why they threw our babies in the river in Egypt. That's why they was aborting all our babies in the abortion clinic. That's why they shooting all our sons down in the street, throwing them in prison, you feel me, locking the door, throwing away the key. Because we just going to overpopulate this place, man. If they let us loose, you go ahead.
Verse 20, as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make...
Oh, wait. And it say, I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant. It's talking about Isaac. It ain't got nothing to do with Ishmael. You feel me? So if the Arabs understand that they are Ishmael, then who the hell is Isaac? Why don't nobody want to talk about who that is? We've been talking about it since 1969. The Arabs know that they Ishmael. The Jewish man know they Ishmael. So who the hell is Isaac? They've been hidden away in the prisons, in the ghettos of America, man. Go ahead.
Verse 20, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly.
And that he did. If you look at the Arabs, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, all this stuff, Afghanistan, there's a lot of Arabs over there. And they got money. You feel me? They got money, but the money they got won't even match the money a servant that opened a door in the kingdom of heaven. A servant, somebody just opened a door and closed the door. You feel me? In the kingdom of heaven, that money they got over there ain't gonna match him. You feel me? But like they say, the families will be blessed in the earth. You feel me? That's what the Most High told Abraham. So it ain't saying that all these heathens just gonna be poor with rags on. They gonna be flourishing and making money and stuff too. But we gonna rule the earth. We gonna have the richest economy and all that. They gonna all pay 10% of all that millions of dollars to us. You feel me? You go ahead.
12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Which he is. Arabs a great nation, even though they strap bombs to themselves and kill themselves. But they do that because of all the money and stuff they got. Like Bin Laden was rich. Bin Laden wasn't no po Arab with no rag on, walking around and just picked up AK and just said, "Yeah, I'm tired of America." No, he was rich, and he did a lot of trades with America too before he even went rogue. You feel me? America was actually rocking with Bin Laden. That's why another reason why they wanted to hunt him down, because they knew he knew a lot of stuff. You feel me? You go ahead. We're going all the way to 21.
Come. Verse 21. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac.
Right, so all that being said, all that money the Arabs got, all the princes, they little land, the covenant going to be with Isaac, which means his family is the one that's going to rule the earth. The Arabs don't rule the earth. You feel me? They run their countries, but they don't rule the earth. You go ahead.
Which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
Right, yeah, so it was already being planned. Isaac, you feel me? He ain't even here yet. Isaac ain't even born yet, but they just talking about, the Most High talking to Abraham about what's about to happen, you feel me? About this glorious, transition, because he say, Ishmael live. But the Most High, like, I ain't dealing with him. I don't want no parts of him. I got another son, you feel me? That's going to come out of you and another Hebrew woman. You feel me? But yeah, you could drop that and go to Genesis 21:9.
The book of Genesis chapter 21 verse 9.
Right, but if you listen to the story though, which is what we basically break it down, he ain't want no dealings with Ishmael. So why they so happy about Abraham not sacrificing Ishmael and sacrificing a ram, it's not even true. They mixed that whole story up to make themselves seem prominent. You feel me? He didn't even try to sacrifice Ishmael. Ishmael was done away with. Go ahead.
Verse 9. It's like in the book of Genesis chapter 21 verse 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking.
Right, so she talking stuff about the baby, her, all that. And it's funny because she gave the woman to Abraham to have sex with, to have a baby, because she couldn't have none. But after she done it, of course, she regretted it. You feel me?
Verse 10. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac.
Right, so now they know Isaac is going to be the man. He going to be the one that we going to come through and be a great nation. She said, man, get rid of this baby and her. But it's funny because she gave the woman to him. You feel me? That just show you, man, if you ever think a woman is going to just be absolutely happy that you tan fire to another one, man, look, man, good luck. I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm just trying to give you some game. It's not going to happen, man. It's not. If you think you're going to come home one day and your wife going to be like, hey, did you tan fire over there? She's not going to say that. She don't want to know nothing about what you got going on. That is a whole separate situation. You feel me? And this is proof right here because Sarah gave him this woman. And the whole time she was mad about it and even said put her and the baby away. Get rid of both of them. You go. We're going all the way to 14.
Verse 11. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son.
So, that was his son at still. But prophecy is prophecy. You go ahead.
Verse 12. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
As who?
And for Isaac, in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
So even the Most High was even cool with this. You feel me? The Most High was even cool with this. You feel me? And we don't believe in divorce and definitely getting away with our kids. But this was in a time when we was coming up. You feel me? Our family was being built. And the Most High was like, he wasn't cool with Ishmael being a part of the family, which is the so-called Arabs today. He wanted them far away from us Sarah wanted them far away from us. Abraham, just being a man of God, he was just like, man, for real? Like, nah, I ain't. It's my son. But when the Most High told him to do it, of course, he got right with it. You go with it.
Verse 13. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed.
And that's the reason why the Arabs prosper. That's it. Esau, the so-called white man, is because of murder. You feel me? Murder and destruction. But the Arabs is prospering because he was Abraham's seed, and Abraham was going to be a father of many nations. He was called the friend of God, actually. That's what Abraham was called, the friend of God, which is, man, is amazing. So, because of that, and because he loved Ishmael, that was his first son, Most High said, I'm going to make him a great nation. He ain't going to be better than y'all, which the Arabs is not. You could just look at them and see. They ain't nowhere near as great as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and we from the mud. We from the dirt. And you could just look at them and look at us and tell they ain't better than us. You feel me? You go ahead.
Verse 14. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba.
Right. So I don't know where these Arabs getting this holiday from, what they so happy about. You feel me? I don't understand what's the point of this. If it say that he sent the baby away, you feel me? What are they celebrating? You feel me? I think they getting confused with Isaac, that they're thinking that they're Isaac, and that's just not true. You feel me? It's tons of history books and all that. You got a question? Oh, you got all right, Most High Christ, that's cool. That's Shalom Shbrakatah.
Shalom.
We'll get up with you. We'll probably have camp this weekend.
I'm gonna send you a text when I get to the crib.
All right, Most High Christ. You about to do. But yeah, though, I don't know where they getting this from. I don't know where they getting this holiday from. If the holiday is about him not sacrificing Isaac and sacrificing a ram, what are they celebrating if they're Ishmael and they got put away? Feel me? It ain't even no secret. But if I could, you could drop that. And let's go to Genesis 22:1.
Con, the book of Genesis chapter 22, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. Verse 2. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son, Isaac.
Ishmael?
Isaac.
Right, okay. And this is where they get this holiday from that we broke down earlier with the two articles.
Whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I tell thee of.
Right. So that's why I said that he tempted Abraham to see, was he going to follow him or was he going to do what he wanted to do. He wanted him to kill Isaac as an offering. You go ahead.
Verse 3. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place God had told him. Verse 4. On the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. Verse 5. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you.
Right, so he didn't even want them to know what was going on, because what he was about to do, or what he was told to do by the Most High, was really horrific. Because this was the son that he was told to be chosen. You feel me? Many nations come out of him and all that. So now he going up to sacrifice. He didn't want his soldiers and stuff, because Abraham was not that poor man you've seen in the movies. Abraham had soldiers. He had armies. He was rich. Abraham was not no poor man with no robe on like the movie show. He was rich. That's why him and Lot had to separate, because both of them was rich. They had so many cattle and men and stuff under them. They had to separate. But anyway, he told them to stand right here, and me and my son finna go up here to this altar and worship God. But they didn't know what he was finna do, because the message only came to him. You go ahead.
Verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, And he took the fire in his hand and the knife, and they went both of them together. Verse 7. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?
So Isaac wasn't no dumb job. He like, okay, we got the fire and the wood, but where's the animal at? You feel me? We supposed to be sacrificing an animal. That's what he was thought. But he didn't know that he was the burnt offering. He was going to be killed and sacrificed to the Most High to see if see if Abraham really loved and was going to follow the Most High. You go ahead. We're going all the way to 13.
Verse 8. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering.
Right. So he called Isaac the lamb. You feel me? Just like Christ was called a lamb, Isaac was called a lamb. Isaac and Christ is the same spirit. You know, Christ, Isaac is reincarnation. You feel me? It's Christ. Christ was here multiple times. Isaac, Solomon, Melchizedek, Isaac, Solomon, Adam, and Christ. Them was the 5 appearances of his spirit being on the earth. And this is one of the scriptures you could use, you know, because he was called a lamb, which also Christ was called the lamb. You feel me? Which was a sacrifice. You go ahead.
So they went both of them together. Verse 9. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood.
Right, and Isaac was with it. That's how you know that's the same spirit as Christ. The same way he went up on that cross. Same way he told Peter and them to stand down when they was going to fight for him. Same way Isaac was like, all right, where the lamb at? He said, you the lamb. All right, well, so be it. And Isaac got up on there and was ready to die. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
Right, he finna kill him.
Verse 11. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. Verse 12. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him.
Mm-hmm.
For now I know that thou fearest God.
That was the whole point. That's all that the Most High and the angels was trying to see. Do he really fear you? Should we really deal with him? Because that's not a light thing for the Most High to just deal with you. You feel me? Deal with you and your sons. Man, that's a heavy. So they had to see. That's why I said this was the beginning. This was before we was all here like we are now, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What they said was going to happen. We're going to be as the sand of the sea, the stars in heaven. Go ahead.
For now I know that thou fearest God,
Seeing
thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me.
Only son. Ishmael is gone. For all he know, Ishmael is dead. For all he know, this is his only baby. And he was about to kill him because the Most High said to. Man, that's that, man. Look, if that ain't order, I don't know what is, man. That's order. You feel me? It's rough, but that's order, man. You go ahead.
Verse 13. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram.
A what?
A ram.
Now, I thought they said that he sacrificed the ram because he wanted to save them. That's what they celebrating the holiday for, if I ain't lying. This ain't got nothing to do with them. What the hell is they even talking about? That's what I'm saying, man. They would do anything to try to discredit black folks. They done switched the whole story around to make the Muslims seem prominent. When the whole time the story ain't have shit to do, excuse my language, a lot. Ain't have nothing to do with them. They was talking about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Go ahead.
A ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
Instead of his son. Not Ishmael. Ishmael is long gone. So they celebrating this holiday. They didn't mix the story around, fumbled it all up, just to make themselves seem prominent. So you could drop that and go to Genesis 25:1.
The book of Genesis chapter 25, verse 1. Then Abraham took a wife. Her name was Keturah.
Right, so now he done took him another wife. I know Sarah is pissed. But, you know, it is what it is. That's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother class. We'll get into that another time.
Verse 2, and she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua.
Mm-hmm. Hey, now you heard that name, right? Midian? No, we read that prayer. You say, be unto the Midianites is done for the earth. You feel me? That was Abraham's sons, but they got destroyed. You feel me? Like, they whole race was murdered. But you keep going. We're going all the way to 7.
Come.
Oh, but yeah, this Abraham had 6 more sons, basically what I'm saying. So it wasn't just Isaac and Ishmael. He done had 6 more, and Isaac still was the one. Because one of these sons, Midian, had children, and they got destroyed. You feel me? They went extinct off the whole face of the earth. You go ahead.
Verse 3, and Jokshan begot Sheba, and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, and Letushem, and Lemon. Verse 4, and the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanok, and Abida, and Eldah. These were the children of Keturah. Verse 5, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac.
No, he split it up evenly with all 8 of his sons, because he loved all 8 of his sons.
Gave all that he had unto Isaac.
He didn't give a fuck about them sons. Them sons didn't mean nothing to him, man. Because Isaac was the one that was going to be chosen. Isaac was the one, man. The rest of them sons that Abraham had didn't mean a goddamn thing. You feel me? Isaac was his pride and his joy. You keep going.
Verse 6, but the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts.
Right, gave them gifts. They gave them something. Just like these heathen nations, man. They going to have gifts. When we get the kingdom, they going to have gifts. They going to have money. They all ain't going to be living in mud huts. But we going to rule, though. Because we come out of Isaac, which is the seed, you feel me, that shall be chosen. Like the Bible said. You got something?
I just wanted to ask, were the concubines, were they heathens, like his first wife?
To be honest with you, we'll probably have to look into Keturah to see. But a concubine just means like a woman that's of a lesser status. So it could be a heathen, especially in this case, because it wasn't many Hebrew. I know Sarah wasn't, but it wasn't many Hebrews at the time. But I don't know if Keturah was I can't answer that. I'm not gonna lie. I can't answer if she was, because that's who these 6 kids came out of. So I can't say if she was a heathen, but I'm pretty sure she was though. But I just know concubine just mean a woman of a lesser status than the actual wife. Like she could have got war. You could have got her in war, or like Hagar was a handmaid, like something like that. It could have been stuff like that. You go ahead.
So like it, sir, it wasn't too many generations between Eber and Abraham, was it?
I don't know. I don't know how many years was the difference. But I just know that Sarah was a Hebrew and Abraham was a Hebrew. I know that for sure. But Keturah, who he had these other children by, these other 6 children, I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's in there. But for time's sake, we probably can't get that. But I definitely could find it though. You go ahead.
And sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country.
Right. We pray to the east. That's why we pray to the east. That's why our country was at in the east. You feel me? Jerusalem, our homeland, Israel. You go ahead.
Verse 7, and these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived in 163 years.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you could drop that. It was talking about before he died and stuff. And go to Genesis 25 and 1. No, Salaki, my bad. 25 and 21.
Come. The book of Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren.
Right, so now Isaac, he a grown boy now. He a grown man now. It's his turn to take over what Abraham did.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 22. And the children struggled together with her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Right. She was having so much pain. She want to know, why is these babies, killing me like this? Why is this baby hurting me like this? She was in that much pain. Because I know women, I had a few kids, and women go through pain, but then it's a whole different type of pain where it's like, they almost wish that it ain't never happened. You feel me? You go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Right, 2 nations in thy womb. You feel me? Isaac was the seed that was chosen. So now he finna have children. And his wife is 2 nations in her womb. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Mm-hmm. So these 2 babies in her stomach gonna be whole 2 different families. You feel me? They're gonna be whole 2 different nations of people. You go ahead. Just like just Ishmael and Isaac. It's the same thing. Just like Ishmael and Isaac, they was 2 different nations. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Mm-hmm.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. So the first baby that come out is supposed to serve the younger. It's gonna be weaker than the younger. Feel me? It's gonna show the younger what not to do. Ain't that what the white man showing us right now? Am I lying? He's showing us what not to do when we get the kingdom. He got gay flags all around everywhere. And when this place burn, we're going to note that. Like, yeah, well, we're going to make sure we don't never do what Sodom and Gomorrah did, because America did it too. And they whole kingdom, the whole earth got destroyed. Feel me? We ain't going to never do what these heathen nations is doing, man. All this evil stuff they pushing, man, is going to be a figment of our imaginations, man. Like it never even existed. You go ahead.
Verse 24. And were her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
They called his name Esau. He came out red all over like a hairy garment. The so-called white man is the caveman. You feel me? He's the caveman. He couldn't grow over 4 foot tall. He's the one that had the rebirth, which is the Renaissance period, when he came out of the caves and started ruling Europe and all these other countries that black people ruled. You feel me? He is the devil the Bible speaks of. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out.
Oh, they ain't even describe how he looked. Because he looked at normal. He looked at like Abraham and Isaac. You feel me? How everybody else looked at. But this first baby that came out looked at different, and they had to document that. He came out red and hairy. We're going all the way to 27.
Come. And his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
He was a what?
A cunning hunter.
Now, we just talked about the terrorists, the Arabs. So he was a wild man. He going to be a wild man. And now we talking about Esau, the so-called white man. They say he going to be a hunter. So where the black people fit in this stuff at? We was the chosen people. Never even thought of it. It's telling you what Esau was going to be, a cunning hunter, shooting you down 60 times. 60 bullets going through your body. Killing little boys for playing with a BB gun. You feel me? You're going to be a cunning hunter. Y'all had all the animals going extinct because of Esau. The so-called white man said he was going to be a cunning hunter. Then it's another man out here blowing himself up for rights. And for people to leave him alone. I'm just saying, we march for rights. We walked down the street, got sprayed by water hoses. They blowing people up for their rights. It's a wild man. Go ahead.
A man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
Right, somebody that's going to march for his rights. Going to march and pray for justice and all that, man. Because we the only ones that got a living God that's going to protect us. They going to blow themselves up. The white man going to be hunting. You feel me? And we going to march. We going to march and riot and go steal sneakers out of the Nike factory. That's what we going to do. Because we don't have no God. He ain't with us. He said he ain't with us right now. You hear me? But is that it? Yeah, drop that. And last scripture, let's go to Genesis 27 and 32.
Come, the book of Genesis chapter 27, verse 32. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
Right, so he was supposed to go get the blessing, and Jacob went and got it. But Jacob wanted it. You feel me? He wanted it.
Verse 33. And Isaac trembled exceedingly and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? and I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. Verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
Right. So Jacob, so-called blasphemers and Indians, went and got that blessing, man, because it was for us in the first place. But we had to go take it. We had to. Couldn't just be given to us, man. Ain't nothing just gonna be given to you, man. You gotta fight. You feel me? You gotta fight for the Lord's mercy, man. You feel me? For his love, man. You gotta go ahead and show him you deserve it, man. And that's why Jacob had to go. He had to go fight for that. He couldn't just sit back, because if he would have, Esau would have got it. You go ahead.
Verse 35. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and had taken away thy blessing.
Slickness. Feel me? Slick. That's what they always said about black. They're just a bunch of tricksters. You feel me? Because we plain men dwelling in tents. We got a bunch of time to figure stuff out. While you out there hunting everything, we in here coming up to how to make a computer, to make the internet work, to come up with stop lights and heart. What Daniel Hale Washington? What he do? The first heart transplant. That's what we doing. We sitting back coming up with all type of stuff in our mind, while you sitting out here killing everything. That's what it means by Jacob is a plain man dwelling in tents. He's sitting back and he's studying, man. Go ahead.
Verse 36. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he had supplanted me these 2 times.
Because this was the second time, because he was talking about he was hungry and he was finna die. And Jacob was like, send me your birthright and I'll give you this meat, this bloody meat. And he like, all right, what is this birthright gonna do for me? I'm about to die. The whole time you weren't about to die. But that's just Esau. Esau just want everything right now. He can't wait. You feel me? He just need it right now. He's just such a lustful bastard. You feel me? And Jacob, you know, he used that against him. He got it, and he sold him his birthright. That was the first time. This is the second time, though. You go ahead.
He took away my birthright, and behold, now he had taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved the blessing for me? Verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord.
Who are we? That's black people. We is they Lord. The so-called white man, we are your Lord. You feel me? We are over you in rank. But, you know, you say you was going to live by the sword. We sinned against our God. So you got it right now. You got it.
And all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
Servants, yeah.
And with corn and wine I have sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Right. He like, what I'm supposed to give you now? It's over with. I only got 2 sons. Isaac only had 2 sons. He gave the blessing away. What you want me to do? And it's funny because if you read up in the story, Isaac knew that wasn't Esau. He just didn't care because he know the prophecy. It said that the elder shall serve the younger. He knew the prophecy. You go ahead.
Verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Right. He said, Esau, you're going to have your turn. You feel me? You're going to be reaching up to the Mars. You feel me? You're going to be going into outer space. You're going to be conquering all these nations. But go ahead.
Verse 40. And by the sword shalt thou live.
Peace and harmony.
By the sword shalt thou live.
Prayer.
The sword shalt thou live.
He'll be dropping bombs and nukes to get it, though. He's going to have to murder and kill to get the fatness of earth and the dew of heaven. You feel me? However they put it. You feel me? That's what he's going to have to do to get it. He's going to have to murder to get it. It's talking about the white man. Who else did that? But where are we in this story? We was the one dwelling in tents. You feel me? We was the one on the low-key people. Ain't nobody thinking about. Ain't nobody worried about. We was them. You feel me? Go ahead.
And shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. The so-called white man served us, man. We had him in submission. Plenty of times we had him in submission. He was the caveman. But he broke that yoke during the so-called rebirth. What they call the Renaissance period. He whitewashed all the images. Go get the book called The Russian Icons. He whitewashed every image in the Bible and turned it into a white man. You feel me? Or even during the time of the Romans and the Greeks, man, they killed us and made us serve their gods, man. You feel me? That's the only way they was going to ever prosper. By murder, by the sword. Christianity was pushed by the sword, by murder. Not because the doctrine was so good. It's about murder. Go ahead. We're going all the way to 41. We ended with that.
Come, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob.
He hated Jacob. The so-called white man hate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Still to this day, because of back then. I bet you ain't even know it go back that far. You probably thought it was just because of slavery. You feel me? Or because of civil rights or Reconstruction. This is a hate that they've been having on us since Esau and Jacob, thousands of years ago. Go ahead.
Because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
That's why. You ever wonder why a white man don't like you? That's why. He don't even know it. It's so lost through history, he don't even know. But I'm telling you right here, a black man from the gutter, from the mud, I'm telling you why. It's in the Bible. They don't even know. You can ask a regular white man, he don't know. He'll just say, because you was my slave, or, we used to, y'all are, prospering better than us, whatever. It's not why. The reason why is because Jacob and Esau had a friction. And Esau say he hate him, man. Go ahead.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning my father are at hand.
Right. Isaac about to die, and that's the only reason why Jacob is still alive. Only reason why Jacob is still alive, which is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, is because our father Isaac was still alive. So he wanted to keep some peace. But watch this.
Then I will slay my brother Jacob.
And what's been happening since then? The so-called white men have been murdering blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Every chance they get. They making up laws so they can get away with it, man. The police, they killed Tamir Rice, just tried to apply for a whole nother unit. But the people in the city say, nah, we don't want him as our police officer. He's a child murderer. You feel me? Come on, man. This is something that they've been doing since Jacob and Esau, murdering us, man. And they not going to stop. It's not going to stop, man. But if I could, that's end of tonight's class, But we got a special announcement, We got a sister that's been down with us, man. And she about to receive her name, man. So if I could, can you get that camera? It's like, you stand over there. Get the camera on her, man. It's her day. This ain't got nothing to do with me, man. I'm just speaking for the brother, And this is an excellent sister, man. You feel me? It's still alive.
Come.
This is an excellent sister right here, man. This sister is so glorious, man. She wanted to come out the world and serve the Most High, man. She came all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. Am I right? Mm-hmm. All the way from Las Vegas, Nevada to come help us out, man. Because, Kentucky, man, we was on the up and coming, but we was short in numbers, man. And she came out here to help us out, and she doing a good job. Like, what I want to say about this sister for sure, though, is I remember one time we went to Western Kentucky. We had a mission. You was with me. We had a mission to go to Western Kentucky, take the camp out, the first camp out that they ever seen at UPK. But I didn't have no babysitter. I'm going to keep it honest, because I get my kids every week. I didn't have no babysitter. She watched them. She watched my kids, and I came back. My daughter knocked out sleep. My son jumping for joy, happy as ever. And my son even still asks about her to this day. You feel me? He still asks about her. You feel me? Had a good time with her. And what the Bible say is anybody that helps out a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, man. And that's exactly what this sister's going to get tonight. She's going to get her name. And if I could, Salakia, the brother wanted me to say something. Salakia. That's just me, my personal experience with the sister. She's an excellent sister. But this is also Officer Asar, the camp leader, Officer of 1,000 Asar. This is his rib, but he couldn't be here tonight. You feel me? And she loved the Lord, for sure. She loved the Lord. She loved the Most High in Christ. And your name will never be whatever it was in the world. I don't know what it was. I just know you as my Adawan's rib, his wife, You feel me? But it'll be I.S.U.P.K. I.S.U.P.K. And that means she loves the Lord. You feel me? He loves you back for sure. But if I could, let me get the prayers. You could just hold the camera. I'll read the prayers.
Come on, sir.
Yabaraka Yahweh, Wayashamarka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Pun Yahweh, Al Yaka, Yahweh Kakanya, Slakia, Waya Kakanka, Yasha, Yahweh, Pun Yahweh, Al Yaka, Washem Yalaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Hagun, and you will say your name 3 times. It is. Let me read it one more time to you. Ahabayah.
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 Ba'ashem Yahushai. What amen. Christ, the angels is most definitely rejoicing. One last thing, I just got to put an oil on your head. Most saying Christ, if I could. And that's it. Most saying Christ. Most saying Christ. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Most saying Christ. If I could, you could end the live.